This is an International 1086 tractor. It was first started being produced in the late 1970s into the early 1980s. When you went away from open tractors to tractors with cabs, that was the major improvement. Besides the size and the horsepower, to pull a lot bigger implements, but you get heat in the wintertime, air conditioning in the summer, which was a major thing, especially in the wintertime. The heat was great. This was a real popular tractor back then, the 86 series. The first two numbers would denote the size. There'd be like a 986, a 1086, a 1486, and a 1586. 15 being the largest, and the series was the 86 series tractor. Okay, this is Case International 2394 tractor. In the late 1980s, Case and International Harvester merged together to make Case International, which they still are Case International tractors today. The difference between the 1086 and this tractor are, it's a larger cab, it's a quieter cab, bigger horsepower. Other than that, better heat, better air conditioning. This was the last new tractor that my father, Lucas's grandfather, bought before he passed away.
What are some components that have changed in tractors over the years that you've been using them?
Some of the components have changed. Obviously, we're upping horsepower about every year that John Deere releases a new line of tractors. The big thing that we transitioned into the past couple, maybe 2 to 3 years ago, was the interim Tier 4 engines. So we're having to be compliant with emission standards. So we've got different emissions technologies built into the tractors as far as burning off soot and different things like that, so that the air coming out of the machine is cleaner. That's probably been one of the biggest things as far as agriculture is concerned, as far as engines going forward. It wasn't a maybe thing, it was a government you had to do it type of thing. So but that was the biggest, because that was the John Deere spent the most money on that project than any other project in the history of John Deere. So that was a big thing that we're at right now. So but another big thing too with machinery and what's changed over the years is John Deere's been advertising what we call the rise of the smart machine. So what you might equate it to is OnStar on your vehicles. We have very much the same thing on John Deere tractors. So we call it JD Link. We can access tractor diagnostics, things like that from the computer here in the office. We can actually view where the tractor is right now, real time, if it's on, running. And then we can pull a lot of useful information for the owner as far as machine use, when it was under load, when it was idle, fuel usage, fuel efficiency, and like I said, diagnostics codes too, which helps us help the operator use it more efficiently as well.
Great.
I believe the other question was what I would like to see changed.
Yeah.
Some of the technology that's on the tractor that I would like to see changed, which we'll probably most likely see coming here in the next 5 years. We will have remote display access as well, so their guidance displays, things like that, we will be able to see from our computers sitting in the office, but we cannot manipulate them at this point in time. I would like to see us to be able to press buttons from the office for the customer, or be able to basically navigate them around in the display a little bit more.
Chris, line 1, please. Chris, line 1.
Another big thing that some other companies are getting into, which I'd like to see us get into a little bit more, is utilizing Apple a little bit more with iPads, iPhones, maybe having a display much like an iPad in the cab where it's mobile, and the ability to access weather on the fly, as well as over-the-air data transfer too. So,
what would you say is the coolest, most fun, or even biggest tractor you've ever used?
the biggest tractor I've ever used is John Deere's. Well, it's the biggest one they make. It's a 560 horse four-wheel drive tractor, 16 foot wide.
Literally hiding behind the tire. Just huge.
You ask about, the changeover. My grandfather used to talk about his two horses, Charlie and Dick, the last two horses he had, and he missed them.
Yeah.
He loved his horses.
Yeah.
And, I would think, oh my gosh, that was so much work. How could you love those horses? Yeah. Yeah. But he really did.
Yeah.
People had an affinity towards their animals.
Our last driver was old Bob and Black.
She had on a new dress and she curled her hair. She was looking too good not to go somewhere. Said, what you wanna do, baby, I don't care. We can go to the show, we can stay right here, and I can take you for a ride on my big green tractor. We can go slow or make it go faster, down through the woods and out to the pasture. Long as I'm with you, it really don't matter. Climb up in my lap and drive if you want to. Girl, you know you got me to hold on to. We can go to town, but baby, if you'd rather, I'll take you for a ride on my big green tractor.